All right, let's dive into the secret life of a molecule. Seriously, it's a story about incredible pressure, intense heat, and a total transformation. We're talking about hydrocracking, this amazing high-tech process that takes heavy, kind of useless oil and turns it into the clean, high-performance fuels that power our world. But to really get it, we have to start with a really basic question.
So, why even bother? Why go through all this trouble to take oil and just break it apart? Well, it all comes down to the raw material we start with. A lot of the world's crude oil is just thick, heavy, and full of impurities. To make it useful and way more valuable, we have to change its very structure on a molecular level. And that really gets to the heart of it. This is all a quest for higher quality and higher value. We're essentially re-engineering these molecules to make cleaner, more efficient fuels. You know, the kind that can meet today's super strict global standards for things like international shipping and aviation fuel. The process is called catalytic hydrocracking. What's great is the name, catalytic hydrocracking. Kind of gives the whole game away. Cracking is literally what it sounds like. We're breaking down these big, clunky molecules. And hydro? Well, that's where one of our key players comes into the picture, hydrogen. You know, every great transformation story needs its heroes. And inside the hydrocracker, there are two main players that make all the magic happen. So, let's meet them. First up, our catalyst. Now, this isn't just some random substance. You can think of it as the entire stage where this reaction happens. Picture a reactor just packed with beds of these tiny little pellets. They're made of a special mix, usually some metals on an acidic base, which creates this perfect dual-function surface for both breaking bonds and helping build new, better molecules. And our second hero is hydrogen. And listen, it's not just hanging around in this process, it is an active, really powerful partner. Hydrogen has a couple of incredibly important jobs that are just absolutely crucial for getting those high-quality final products we want. So, what are its main jobs? First, something called saturation. When a big molecule breaks, you get these unstable little fragments. Think of them as having a jagged edge. Hydrogen swoops in and basically caps them off, which stops them from linking up and forming this nasty gunk called coke. Second, purification. Hydrogen grabs onto pollutants like sulfur and nitrogen and turns them into compounds we can easily pull out later. So the takeaway is simple. Hydrogen makes the final fuel both stable and clean. Now, for this amazing transformation to actually happen, our molecules and our heroes need the right kind of environment. And in hydrocracking, that environment is basically an arena of extremes. We are talking about a sealed-up reactor vessel that's operating under conditions that are, well, they're anything but ordinary. The first extreme is heat, a lot of heat. The reactor operates in this really specific, super hot range, between 350 and 450 degrees Celsius. That intense heat, combined with just immense pressure, gives the molecules the energy they need to break apart and reform. But hang on a second. When you're running a reaction that hot, there's got to be a risk, right? What happens if the process starts making its own heat? Could it, get out of control? And that is exactly the danger. You see, the process of adding hydrogen is exothermic, which is just a fancy way of saying it releases heat. If you don't control that, you can get these dangerous hotspots inside the reactor that can literally fry the very expensive catalyst or cause a whole bunch of other problems. So how do engineers deal with this? With a pretty brilliant and actually simple idea. They use our hero, hydrogen, again. They inject cold hydrogen, they call it quench hydrogen, right in between the different layers of the catalyst. It just soaks up all that excess heat, keeps the temperature nice and stable, and makes sure the whole system runs safely. It's a really elegant piece of chemical engineering. Okay, so we've met the heroes, and we've seen the extreme arena where they do their work. Now let's put it all together. It's time to actually follow a molecule on its complete journey, all the way from heavy, gloopy oil to a clean, valuable fuel. So the journey starts at step 1. The heavy feed oil gets mixed with hydrogen and heated up. From there, step 2, it goes into the reactor and flows through those catalyst beds. That's where the real transformation happens. After that, step 3, it moves to a separator where the gases are stripped away from all the newly created liquids. And finally, those liquids head to a fractionator, which is basically a distillery that separates them out into all our final products. And after that whole intense journey of being broken, purified, and separated, what do we actually get? Well, this is the payoff. This is where we see that crude, heavy oil finally become a whole range of clean, valuable products that our world really relies on. And they are some pretty amazing products. We get light gases like LPG, high purity naphtha, which is a key ingredient for making gasoline, super stable jet fuel for airplanes, and of course, clean low sulfur diesel. And get this, even the stuff that doesn't get fully converted isn't wasted. It just gets recycled right back to the beginning of the process for another try. It's an incredibly efficient system.
So, when you step back and look at the whole picture, it's pretty clear that hydrocracking is way more than just some industrial process. As our source material puts it so well, it's not just about changing the shape of molecules. It's really about creating the safer, cleaner fuels that are essential for our modern world, all while meeting these ever tighter environmental rules.
So the next time you see a plane flying overhead or a big truck on the highway, you can think about this hidden journey, a single molecule being torn apart and rebuilt, all to create a better, cleaner fuel. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What molecular journey should we explore next?